Welcome to the Purple Party, known as Purple Nerd Channel, home for all those who geek out on all things Prince related. On December 8th, 1987, Prince's latest album, most commonly referred to as the Black Album, was set to be released. But then on December 1st, Prince canceled the album's release and spent the next 2 months recording an album to replace it. I go further into details as far as why Prince canceled the Black Album in the video I did for the Black Album, and I will have that video at the end of this video. Lovesexy was released May 10th, 1988 in the US, peaking at number 11 on Billboard's Top 200, number 5 on the R&B charts, and number 1 in the UK, and in the top 10 of 10 other countries. Selling over 500,000 copies in the US, but worldwide it sold just under 1 million copies. Singles were released for Alphabet Street, which peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Top 100 Singles, number 3 on the R&B charts, and number 9 in the UK. Glam Slam, which hit number 44 on the R&B charts, and number 29 in the UK, and I Wish You Heaven, which peaked at number 18 on the R&B charts, and number 24 in the UK. Videos were released for Glam Slam, Alphabet Street, and I Wish You Heaven. The Lovesexy World Tour had one of their shows broadcast live on September 9th, 1988 across Europe. This same show would be released on VHS in Europe and Japan on April 19th, 1989. Ever since Prince's album Controversy, there's always been this underlining message of spirituality versus sexuality underneath the surface of all his music. With Lovesexy, this is put right in the forefront and becomes the main theme of this album. As in Romans 1:16, Prince is unashamed of the gospel, and his inner battle of God versus Satan, love versus lust, is played out throughout this entire album, as he openly speaks about not only his relationship with God, but Jesus Christ on several songs, while still maintaining the erotic Prince we all know on other songs. The title, as Prince describes it, is when you fall in love with not a girl or a boy, but the heavens above. All these different themes and emotions will make sense more and more as we go through the album. We open up with I Know. This song is based off the unreleased song The Ball, which was supposed to be on the canceled project Crystal Ball, which would eventually become Sign of the Times. The song opens up with Prince's new spiritual muse, poet and artist Ingrid Chavez, proclaiming in her poem that when love calls, you gotta go. The song is uplifting with a funky church vibe to it. In the song, Prince opens up and lets everyone know that he's just not some simple, selfish, sexual deviant, that he in fact knows there is a heaven and a hell, and that there are consequences in life when it comes to this spiritual battle, and that he does in fact hear the voice of God, but sometimes the devil is louder. In the song, Prince reminisces when God found him at his lowest point, and how now he has all the love in the world for God, and he plans on staying on his path. Next is Alphabet Street. As not to scare away his listeners, Prince goes back to his erotic subtext with this one, while keeping the funk groove going and even letting Cat Glover provide us with a rap. Alphabet Street is a metaphor for a particular sexual act, and I gotta try to keep this clean because you know we got YouTube rules. But this act is performed on a particular part of the woman, where you spell out the alphabet with your tongue. Towards the end of the song, Ingrid Chavez recites the alphabet and happens to skip the letter G, which is actually done on purpose because Prince has already found that spot, if you know what I mean. In the song, Prince references his dad's Thunderbird that he gifted to him, And this particular car for a while was actually Prince's daily driver. I actually did a video about Prince's complete car collection with Jack from Gas Diesel Garage, and I will have a link to that video in the description down below. Next is Glam Slam. This is an upbeat song where Prince speaks very highly of a lady that always takes him to a really spiritual, positive mood, although it is always through physical contact, if you know what I mean. And by the way, this song has some of the most unique metaphors for having an orgasm that I have ever heard. Next is Anesthesia. Anesthesia, come to me, talk to me, ravish me, liberate my... After opening up this album with the gospel, Prince has fallen back into his old ways of trying to find happiness and lust. And on this song, he admits that he now feels empty and lonely, as he realizes that sex is not a spiritual substitute. So in the song, Prince calls upon God and calls out to the name of Jesus to save him. He confesses his sins and promises to follow God. And I have to say that hearing someone come to God and be saved on a song is so beautiful that words cannot even describe it. The song ends with Prince giving us the message that love is God and God is love, which is taken from 1 John 4:16. And from this moment on, throughout any of the music or songs that we hear from Prince, the words love and God are interchangeable in his vocabulary. So when you hear him in a song ask love to save him, he's asking God to save him. Next is Dance On. Dance on, dance on. This song has an amazing drum and percussion punch to it, as Prince references the doom of this world with subject matter very similar to what he spoke of on the song Sign the Times. But in this song, Prince sings sarcastically for everyone just go ahead and ignore it and dance on, as everyone just wants to go and party their troubles away instead of actually dealing with this fallen world. Next is Lovesexy. This upbeat song has Prince describing heavenly joy as the best way he knew how at this time in his life, and that is with sexual metaphors. And when I mean sexual metaphors, I mean he's telling the listener to think about the greatest sexual experience you ever had and how it made you feel. Well, what he feels for the heavens above is greater than that feeling 100 times over. And I say how Prince felt at this time in his life because Prince went through a lot of changes in his life. And I'm not talking about just physically, I'm talking about mentally and spiritually, which unfortunately a lot of celebrities or people in the public eye don't get this opportunity, because whatever you said 20 years ago is what everyone thinks that you believe forever. But a good example is the Prince that made the album Dirty Mind is not the same Prince that made the Rainbow Children. And when I look back on this album, I kind of get what he was trying to convey. It's a wild concept, but I get where he was coming from. Next is When Two Are in Love. This beautiful ballad was the only song left over from the abruptly canceled Black album. I go into further details about this song in the video I did for the Black album, which again will be at the end of this video. Next is I Wish You Heaven. For being the shortest and littlest song on the album, it has the biggest message of the songs on the album. I actually just covered the maxi single of this song where I go into detail about this particular song, and I will have a link for that video at the end of this video. We close out the album with Positivity. In this song, Prince is telling everyone who's going through something to stay positive and don't let the devil bring you down. and convince you that you can't bounce back, that you can't recover, and that you can't be more than what you are right now. To give everyone an example, Prince refers to his battle with the devil, calling him Spooky Electric, the entity that possessed him and made him make the Black Album. Prince would actually record a version of this song with Mavis Staples for her album The Voice in 1993. This song ends the album Lovesexy with the sounds of water rushing as if we've all just been baptized. The cover of this album caused quite a bit of controversy. Matter of fact, I have to censor it for YouTube, as Prince appears nude on the cover. Although all of his manly areas are covered and nothing's hanging out, it still caused a lot of controversy, and a lot of retailers actually refused to stock this album. And a few of the ones that did put a big old black sticker on the cover to censor it. But I may be hurting some people's feelings and crushing some dreams when I say this. Prince is actually not nude on the cover at all. He's actually wearing flesh-colored tight shorts, and where like the fabric meets his skin, they used makeup to kind of blend that line away so you don't see it, which Prince had been and did most of his career experiment with flesh-colored fabric to make him look like he was showing skin in areas that you normally don't. A good and probably the most famous example of this was from the MTV Music Awards when he performed the song Get Off in the infamous yellow outfit that made it look like his butt was hanging out, but nope, he was completely covered with fabric. Of course, this naked image was Prince's way of artistically expressing that he's bearing it all on this album, as at the time, this was the most personal album he had ever released. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Please like and share this video, and as always, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have a moment, go ahead and check out my Patreon page. I have all uncut versions of these videos, so you can check those out in their full version, which I think is the best way to view and preview and watch these videos. And I will see you on the next episode, where I talk about a really crazy amount of Prince connections, kind of like 6 degrees of Prince with a particular artist. And until the next episode, I wish you heaven.